Well, today's episode, we're going to review a much recent event by Gatoh Move Pro Wrestling that took place a week ago. This is called the Road to 10 Years. On a personal note, on this one, Balinaki was not present in this particular show because he is currently here doing a 2-month US tour. And I have to say, there was some really good, interesting matches that took place. And of course, a much recent event by GLEAT with G Pro Wrestling version 29, which I'm excited to see what took place. And of course, we will continue with more on the G1 Climax 32 by New Japan Pro Wrestling. We'll see who's been advancing, but also we cannot forget it's Wednesday night, and you all know what that means. That means AEW Dynamite Fight for the Fallen is taking place. I can't wait to review for all of that. And also, if there's any news updates that I'm willing to share to everybody what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with Gatoh Move with Road to 10 Years. Now, this is one of the much recent events with Gatoh Move that we have been waiting for. On a note here, Emi Sakura or Balinaki is not involved. As you know, Balinaki, he is currently here in the States doing a US tour. If you guys didn't see it, he appeared on the latest edition of AEW Dark Elevation, accompanying Emi Sakura. So, just to let everybody know. But this particular event was pretty good. Now, our first match we have is a three-way tag team match. Team number one, we have Dragon Ninja, Sayuri, Chonchiru versus Tokiko Kihara and Cherry versus Transanam and Akari. Now, if you guys never seen Akari, she is part of the promotion of Pure J. And Cherry, she is in fact a well-respected veteran, also a freelancer. You may have seen her in various promotions from, DDT to Ice Ribbon, wherever she goes. So this was a very unique match. However, I did like how there were some funny moments with Transam Hiroshi. Basically, if you guys ever seen him, he does these meditation things. They try to look for ways to try to get him off his game, but it always plays out in that way where it does work. Because the last time, he tried to sing "We Will Rock You" during a Choco Pro event, and I thought that was very classic. So I have to say it was pretty good. But in fact, it was, of course, Tokiko Kihara who made the fall, but was the one who got pinned thanks to the collaborating work of Dragon Ninja. So I have to say Dragon Ninja could be the next team that could step up into maybe catch up to none other than the Best Bros. As you know, the Best Bros have been the best tag team so far. But we'll see what happens then. Now, our next match we have is singles competition, Sayaka versus Momotani. Now, if you guys aren't familiarized with Momotani, I've seen her before. She used to tag with current Stardom star Momokogo. They were both. It was weird to have two Momos in the same. I don't know why. They could have called themselves the Momo Squad or something. I don't know, but they had a similar trait. But as you know, she also came from the same promotion, Aris Girls, but currently she is signed with Pure J. But having her there, it was pretty nice. I did mention Sayaka has grown up a lot. She is part of the 4th generation. But frankly, she did not make it through because of the double knee right into the abdomen by Momotani to Sayaka, allowing her to pick up a good win. Next up, we got Shin Suzuki along with Hagane Shino to take on Sayaka Obihiro and Uma Army member Tiger G Shinjuku. Now, keep in mind there is no love lost with the members of the Gatoh Move of the Choco Pro group with the Uma Army. They have recently made their appearances on certain occasions, sending people to attack everybody, and that includes Balinaki, but he's not there. But I have to say it was a pretty good, impressive win by Shin Suzuki, who did a very impressive match when he pinned Tiger Jeet. Tiger Jeet, and it was beautifully put. However, Tiger Jeet went on a rampage, attacking everyone until he decided to leave, not take any more of this crap. Now, our next match is a semifinal, is a championship match, and this is our only one. We have, of course, is the Asian Dream Tag Team titles on the line with Yuna Mizumori, the Tropical Wild, and her tag team partner is Bad Communication, Ken Oka, the founder of Gambari Pro. I have to say it was a pretty good match. Their opponents is none other than the current reigning tag team champions is CDK. I thought this match was great. Not to mention they always do the same. Chris Brooks did it again. He tried to toss Sayuri over the rope like he did with Arukaze in the Gambari show. And Balinaki said, if you do this, you'll be deported. But luckily, it did not happen. They gave Chris Brooks a whoop ass of a lifetime. So basically, no one was hurt. But unfortunately, the match ended in favor of CDK retaining the titles. Now, our next and main event match is these two ladies have been head to head on multiple occasions, either in singles or in tag team. We are talking about Too Much Energy, Chiko Shikawa, and of course the Big Apple, or the Apple Goblin, or who I like to call the little Sly Devil, Mei Shiruga. These two have always trying to prove who was the better competitor. Now, keep in mind, we all could agree that there were times we wish that Mei Shiruga should have been the ace of Gatoh Move when Rio left. I mean, she seems like she's in that verge. I mean, I would definitely like to see another match with just those two, but not in Choco Pro, in a Gatoh Move ring. It would be a perfect setting. But right now, Mei is taking on Chi. It was a good match, but however, I like how the innovative pinfall that she applied onto Chi to pick up a win. I did not anticipate that from Mei. I mean, no wonder she took a very huge opportunity for the high speed title. I wish that is something we definitely could see in her, but fortunately, Mei Suruga won the match. And I thought it was great. I like it. It was a pretty good show. You can still see it right now on YouTube, so I hope you guys enjoyed. So I think that's pretty much it. I believe it's time for GLEAT. Okay, so we got GLEAT with G Pro Wrestling version 29. Now, officially, I did not see this when it came out on YouTube, but it was streamed a few days ago. But luckily, I get to see it now. Now, it opened up with a very interesting trios match. We have Magnitude Kishiwada, Oji Shiba, and of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Shima, taking on all members of 60 Seconds. We're talking about Keiji Sato, Jun Tojo, and Tetsuya Isushi. Now, this is more of a veterans versus the younger wrestlers, in my opinion. The way I see it, it's more like 60 Seconds are still the underdogs who are trying to make a name for themselves, better than Bulk Orchestra, who became another dominant faction in GLEAT. Strong Hearts, we have seen them how impressive they've been in various promotions. But 60 Seconds have proven how they can keep up, even if they have only 3 members. That's always been the case. But what was impressive, it was Jun Tonsho who picked up the victory on Oji Shiba, and it was with a pinfall. What a great match, and I had to say 60 Seconds is going to be taking waves sooner or later. Next up, we got, of course, women's action. We got Maya Fukuda, who actually makes her debut in the ring. She's already been signed with the promotion, taking on the big and powerful Chihiro Hashimoto. Now, Hashimoto has been in GLEAT many times over. She has an amazing power and strength. Fukuda, I don't know much about her, but I did a little bit of research. She does have a background of karate, which is okay. There has been girls who we wrote Joshi wrestlers that have that kind of background. If you guys know what I'm referring to, I'm talking about Miyu Yamashita, Julia Nagano, who else? Moka Miyamoto. Certain Yoshi wrestlers do have that kind of background, and I say Fukuda is one of those who can step up. But however, the match did not go or exactly her way due to the fact that Hashimoto is a very strong, powerful individual. She ended up in the with a 10 count on the mat, not outside the ring, but in the mat. It was over right from there. Next up, we got a three-way match. We got Seiya Onisaka versus Shigehiro Iri. Both of them are from Strong Hearts, taking on Kaz Hayashi. Now, this anything could happen in three-way matches. We have seen it countless times over time, But I was very impressed because the way is this. Onisaka and Iri have no problem whatsoever facing off each other. That's always been the case. Strong Hearts are not scared to face each other, but sometimes the X factor is the non-member, which is of course Hayashi is that guy, and he picked up a huge win on Otsunaka. And of course, it was very interesting that he's the only one who's not in any faction one in this particular match. Now, our next match, we have the members of Bulk Orchestra, consistent of Check Shimatani, Quiet Storm, and Hayato Tamura, taking on Yu Iizuka, Minoru Tanaka, and Seishi Ikemoto. Now, this kind of match, I could say, this would fall in favor of Bulk Orchestra, because Bulk Orchestra has always been proven how dominant they have been in the promotion, but however, things did not go exactly their way. I was impressed that all three members of the opposing team of Bulk Orchestra, they put all three of these guys in submissions, and of course, they had no other choice but to tap out. And I think that tells us a lot in this particular match. So I was like, wow, great job, guys. Now, our next match, we have Yoshi wrestling match. We have the Yoshi's Takeover. We have Mochi Miyagi taking on Nanane Takanashi, who's a veteran in the Joshi wrestling world. As you know, she's currently a freelancer. Soon we'll be seeing her in Stardom, where she teams up with Kairi Sane. But this particular match is more about, how do I say, Miyagi has always been the number one Yoshi wrestler in GLEAT, along with Hosokawa. Now, Miyagi has always been proven she's the dominant force in the promotion, but when it comes to outsiders, she's trying to prove, you just enter my house, bitch. That's how she sees it. But however, when it comes to Takanashi, you know for a fact, her background, her extensive resume is beyond anything. But I was impressed. But however, it was Takanashi who pulled off an amazing finisher to finish off Miyagi and pick up 1, 2, 3. It's over. Next match, we have tag team action. We have T-Hawk teaming up with Takanori Ito to take on the other members of Bulk Orchestra. We're talking about Kazuma Sakamoto and the leader, Ruchi Kawakami. Now, this is a very interesting match. However, this match fell in favor of Bulk Orchestra because Ito really screwed up. He misfired, took out T-Hawk by mistake, but it did give Kawakami a chance to finish off Ito with a somewhat version of a phantom driver, giving his team the win. But however, in the post-match, Ito and T-Hawk were at each other's face. I wouldn't be surprised that those two will have a match, but we'll see what happens then. Now, our main event, we have, of course, is Soma Watanabe teaming up with the current G-Rex champion, El Lindaman, to take on the stars of New Japan. We're talking about Suzuki Goons, Doiki and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Now, it's not uncommon these guys come from another promotion. They're allowing other wrestlers from other promotions come into the backyard. We already seen that with Shingo Takagi, um, Bullet Club. Soon we got Kento Kiyahara from All Japan. I wouldn't be surprised if we see guys from DDT or Dragon Gate or anywhere else, or Pro Wrestling Noah if you guys see it. But I have to say it was a pretty good match, and I was surprised that it was Doiki who picked up an amazing victory on Soma Watanabe. But I wouldn't be surprised if either one of these guys challenge El Lindaman for his G-Rex title. So we'll see what happens then. I'm excited because it was pretty good. I like it. So right now, let's move on to our next review, which is the G1 Climax 32 Day 7. Okay, we're continuing with more on Day 7th with New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax 32. Now, I mentioned this before, I will only focus on the matches involving the G1. That includes Block A, B, C, and D. Now, let's get to the matches and see what took place. Now, first match we're going to talk about is in the Block D area, Yujiro Takahashi versus Will Ospreay. Now, keep in mind, Will Ospreay did won his first match against El Fantasmo, and now he faces Yujiro Takahashi. Now, the obvious question is, can Yujiro Takahashi hold his ground against a high caliber wrestler like Will Ospreay? Now, you guys know what he's capable of, how good he is, not only as a groundwork wrestler, but also as a high flyer. But however, there were some moments where we did see Yujiro try to use the low blow in order for him to help. Now, many people can try to dodge Will Ospreay's hidden blade. That's always been the one key thing. Yujiro has ducked it once, but however, things did not go exactly his way until Ospreay applied the Os Cutter to Yujiro, and then the hidden blade. 1, 2, 3, it's over. So he right now currently has two wins, no losses, that total of 4 points. So I will be revealing the point system on this part, but however, as for Yujiro, hold on, let me pull up the thing. Here it is. Sorry, I did not bring this out. So right now, Yujiro only has 1 win and 2 losses, so that's the total of 2 points. Now, it's too early to indicate what's going to happen, but we will go when we get halfway through. That's when things will be revealed. Now, our next match is in the Block A area. We got Balak Fale versus Yano. Now, we know Yano has tricks always up his sleeve in order to win the match. It's always been his MO. Now, you can say that maybe Fale will fall for his trap, but no. Fale has dealt with Yano's crap for many years. He knows that he has tricks up his sleeve, so he decided not to play his little game. However, it did help him win the match regardless of Yano's tricks. Basically, he picked up a huge win against him, knowing that he will be how to say this, that did not work. Excuse me. So Fale has only 2 wins and 1 losses with the total points of 4. As for Yano, he only has 1 win and 2 losses, so that means he only has 2 points. Now, our next match is part of the Block C. We have Aaron Henare versus Hikaruki Goto. Now, Henare has been very impressive recently. As you know, his main weapon is the full Nelson that always helps him win. But however, Goto, he is a fierce warrior. We know he can hold his ground. So the obvious question is, can Henare pull an upset? Well, it did not in his favor. Apparently, Hiroki Goto picked up a nice victory against Henare. So Henare currently right now only has 1 win and 2 losses with a total points of 2. As for Goto, he only has 2 wins so far, basically total points of 4. So he's pretty much in the lead in his block alongside Zack Sabre Jr. So we'll see what's going to take place for him. And our main event is in the Block B section, we have Tama Tonga along with Yado taking on Tomohiro Ishii. I have to say the match was great. Now, people can say that Tama Tonga is the heavy favorite due to the fact of the storyline. As you know, since he was excommunicated from Bullet Club, he has been picking up a bit momentum. So I think this is one of those matches like, okay, he has to uh, break ground regardless. He already has one victory already, but he's dealing with the Stone Pitbull. This is a guy who knows that could put you through a wall, that sort of thing. But I have to say it was great. But however, it was Tomohiro Ishii that picked up the victory with the lariat, giving him 2 points. So that means he only has one win and two losses. So that's the total points of two. As for Tama, he only has one win and one loss. So that's 2 points right there for him. So it's still too early to see what's going to take place. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the upcoming G1 events, and we'll see where we go from there. So right now, let's just end it right here and move on with our final review, and that is, of course, AEW Dynamite's Fyter Fest. Okay, AEW Dynamite's Fyter Fest, as no, Fight for the Fallen. My bad. Fight for the Fallen. Fight for the Fallen. So anyway, it opened up with the AEW Interim World Championship between El Toro Blanco Rush taking on Jon Moxley. Now, this is a very interesting matchup because these guys are two of the most aggressive wrestlers ever. Even William Regal said that before in his previous job, he tried to recruit Rush because he was keeping an eye on him. But however, apparently, I don't know exactly how much of this act is accurate. They wouldn't sign him because he was too violent. That's the whole thing. Now, if you guys remember, recently Andrade told him not to go to the WWE because things are not exactly what he appears. So who knows what the story is? But the match was pretty well. It was pretty well great because it showed. I even mentioned this one time. Now, Silas Young one time said he told Ring of Honor to do something about Rush because he was attacking him the way he did. And I told him, dude, you forget, Rush does not play by anybody's rules. And that's how Rush is. But however, I should known that Andrade was going to show up to help, but luckily the Lucha Brothers have some unfinished business with them, so they chased him out, along with Jose. However, Rush ended up being in a Bulldog sleeper, forcing him to tap out to retain the title. However, Jericho Appreciation Society showed up out of nowhere. Jericho is demanding, has announced the newest member of the JSA, JAS, Anna Jay. However, that wasn't the bigger thing that he wanted to share. He wants to have to cash in his rematch clause. Now, if you remember, 2 years ago, Jon Moxley was the one who defeated Jericho at Revolutions to become the AEW World Champion. But this time, Moxley decided to tell him, "Don't bring this other crap. I want the Lionheart, the last survivor of the Stu Hart dungeon," and that is something that we haven't seen for a long time. So he doesn't want the Painmaker. He does not want the Demo God. He wants the Lionheart. Can Jericho pull that off? We'll see. This has been told out. 2 weeks from now, we will have that match. Now, this is some exciting news for everyone. Now, I don't know how you guys would feel. This has been brought upon on many occasions. They've been talk about this for a while. Apparently, our wish has come true. AEW will present the first ever AEW World Trios Championship. Now, some of you are saying, why do we need the Trios Championships? Now, keep in mind, let me explain this to all of you. This is something that I learned in Stardom that explains why there is a Trios Championship. If you guys know, the artist belts that Stardom has are considered the Trios belts. The significance of those belts indicates who is the strongest faction. That's always been the thing. Now, this is an excellent topic that I'm going to do on my podcast. I will put those down to discuss it. Because here's the thing. Let's say there's 6 members, and 3 of them are the champions. And the thing is, whoever holds these titles are the dominating faction. Now, Picture the House of Black. If they have these belts, they're the dominating faction in AEW. That's always will be the case, and I think that shows us this is going to be good. Not because, oh, we have already have a tag team titles, but that's different. But this trio thing could work out. Now, we do get an interview with Dante Martin. As you know, he is set to face against Sammy Guevara, but he knows that he's going to have Ty Conti by his side, but he decides he's going to have his girlfriend, Sky Blue, at his corner to watch his back. Now, our next match is the FTW Championship between Danhausen and Ricky Starks. Now, I did not witness the last AEW Fighter Fest event. Danhausen accepted an open challenge by Ricky Starks, and Ricky Starks gladly decided to give him that. The match went quickly that allowed Ricky Starks to win, but however, he called out for another challenger, but this challenger was not someone he probably did not anticipate, and Taz, who was commentating, was surprised it was his own son. However, the real question does remain. According to Taz, what he said that Ricky Starks helped train Hook, but it was pretty much, the thing is, how much does he train him? Well, this time it did play out pretty amazingly, allowing him to pick up a good win by applying the sleeper hold onto him to force him to tap out, becoming our brand new FTW championship. And I can tell by the sound of Taz like he is a proud father, knowing that this is a title that his son has watched in his mantle for many years, and I think he always dreamed of holding that title. But in the post-match, Tony Schiavone went to interview Starks, and Starks says that he made that title mean something. So it kind of makes sense. But the one thing that was the most shocking development was, in fact, Powerhouse Hobbs turning on Starks. Now, Taz was in deep shock. He doesn't know what to make of this. I mean, it was Taz that convinced Hobbs to join, but why now? Does he think that Tony Ricky Starks, in fact, has become the weakest link? I don't know. We still don't know what was his purpose, but hopefully by next week we will get the right answer for that. Now, the Acclaim, as you know, has been dealing with the whole gun clap for quite some time since they betrayed them, and now they're setting up a very tight message, and I think it's going to be clear once we get to see those two teams clash. Now, our next match is between Sammy Guevara and Dante Martin. Now, this is not a typical normal wrestling match. This is more of a high flyer standards type. This is something that I grew up in as a kid, watching high flyers, because I enjoyed the Mexican wrestling style for a long time, and I thought this match was pretty great. But however, it was Sammy Guevara that picked up the victory when he applied the Go to Hell, giving him the match. However, they decided to give Dante Martin stumping, and then Anna Jay showed up to give Sky Blue a beating of her lifetime. But however, Ruby Soho, along with Ortiz and Kingston, came out to the rescue. Now it's been confirmed that Ruby Soho will challenge, will be in a match against Anna Jay, someone that she had had worked with before. Now, Daniel Garcia gets an interesting interview. He calls himself that he believes that he's confident enough that he will defeat Bryan Danielson, claiming that he will be the first ever sports entertainer technical wrestler. So we'll see what happens then. Now, Sanjay Dutt, as you know, is not happy with the results of what happened in Death Before Dishonor, where Samoa Joe retained the World Television title, but however, they decided to criticize the Best Friends out of the blue. So they set up in a match against them this coming Friday for Rampage. Sanjay Dutt bit off more than he can chew. He just called it out. I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but yeah. Now, last week we heard the return of Jungle Boy, who wanted to get payback against Christian for his betrayal. So basically now we were seeing a lot of more trash talking from both sides. Basically, Jungle Boy saying that the only reason you wanted to side with me is because you needed money because of your divorce. So that kind of went into a good direction. I think they're saying trash talking each other. But of course, Christian decides to go out saying that he knows many secrets about Jungle Boy. But what is those secrets exactly did he talk about? Now, Brandon Cutler, as you know, is decided to film the Bucks. Apparently, he convinced them about the trios belt, saying, about that. So they're like, okay, we're listening. So the problem is they need a third person. Now, they accidentally bump into Hangman Page. They say happy birthday. I don't know if they're trying to reach out to reform what they had, because it was announced later on that next week we will see the Undisputed Elite return. Fish, um, Riley, and of course Adam Cole. That is something we will see. But however, Hangman was being occupied with the Dark Order, so we'll see what happens then. Now, our next match, we have Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling to take on Swerve Strickland in a handicap match. Keith Lee was barred from ringside. However, the match was kind of like they're trying to ensure things would go exactly according to plan. But however, it was Smart Mark Sterling who got his head kicked in by Swerve in order to pick up the victory. But out of the blue, someone attacked Keith Lee in the back. It turned out to be Josh Woods. If you guys remember, it was Tony Nese that was scouting Josh Woods. Is this the possibility that they are targeting the Swerve in their glory, in our glory, for those tag titles? It is a possibility, because Tony Nese felt that a guy like Swerve should not be in AEW. Now, we do get a little video promo from Malachi Black sending a direct message to Miro, all this and that. But also Brody King sent out a message to Darby Allin in a coffin match. So this is going to be good. Now, our next match is the AEW Women's Championship. We have Miyu Yamashita, who came all the way from Japan to take on Thunder Rosa. The match was pretty good. I'm a fan of Yamashita, how he is, with her striking capability. It did help, but however, it was Thunder Rosa that picked up the victory to retain the title. Now, our main event is Daniel Garcia versus Bryan Danielson. It was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it. However, I knew that this was going to play out where Hager decided to get involved and help Garcia. And of course, Garcia put Bryan Danielson in that Scorpion Deathlock. Then he pushed it back. But Danielson did not tap out. He passed out. And they believe that he found that Garcia is the best technical wrestler. But if I was Zack Sabre Jr., he'll probably tell him that he's nothing but a dickhead. Because here's the thing. Zack Sabre Jr. doesn't need anybody to help him. All he needs is his skills. So that's kind of the thing I've been hoping for. But I'm sure Bryan Danielson will get his revenge on Garcia at some point down the line. So I think that's pretty much it right now. So it's time for some news updates. So we're going to do some news updates. There's only two of them we're going to be talking about. Now, if you guys are big fans of Prestige Wrestling, which is the promotion based out of Oregon, as you know, they've been making headways down in Oregon. I love what they've been doing in their promotion. Recently, if you guys have been aware, I wasn't aware about this. It turns out Prestige Wrestling has now have a working relationship with Tokyo Pro. This happened early this year. However, now it's been told that now we're going to see some wrestlers coming from Dragon Gate. It was announced that Yamato will be heading to Prestige Wrestling, and it's going to be for Roseland 4, the Wake on the Wake the Dead. That's going to take place on the 30th of October. So I'm like very surprised that now we're seeing Japanese wrestlers. Now, some of you saying, is this the right move for them to have Dragon Gate? Keep in mind, New Japan Pro Wrestling, that's an impossible thing to do. However, Dragon Gate would be a perfect step for them. I mean, they could have had someone from Pro Wrestling Noah, but majority of the wrestlers are some of the older ones. But Dragon Gate, I feel it could be a perfect combination from them. Or they could have had DDT, whatever the scenario is. So I'm excited that Yamato will be heading there in October. I can't wait to see it. Now, recently there's a new promotion that just started out. I haven't seen their first show. Welcome to Eaton. I'm talking about Garden State Pro Wrestling. based out of New Jersey. They announced for an upcoming event called Dynasty Clash, and it was announced. Don't know what day this is going to take place, but the American Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, will be making an appearance. But this is coincidentally the reason they're going to be there. They're going to have a tag team championship tournament taking place there as well in this particular event, um, Dynasty Clash. So I'm very excited. Now I don't know what tag teams there will be participating in this particular event, but it's going to be great. I'm sure we will see certain tag teams that we watched over time in the independents. So this is going to be exciting news. So I think that's pretty much it what we got with news updates. So I believe it's time for calling it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we do have, of course, Thursday wrestling involving MLW, um, NXT UK, and Impact Wrestling. Now, if I'm going to throw in any other early events, I will decide that soon enough. I haven't decided. There's still some wrestling I need to catch up. That includes ICW No Holds Bars, of course, the brand new promotion, Garden State Pro Wrestling, 2 events by Circle 6. Um, there's still plenty more I haven't reviewed yet, but I'll get to those as soon as possible. But right now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.